there is no other subject, or maybe there's a few other subjects, but there's one subject that has the ability to polarize and separate and make people angry, that it's the issue of abortion. And even within the abortion um factions, there is also division. So, for instance, uh, we are uh, we are against abortion, right? I'm against abortion. My husband is against abortion. And we could have a conversation about where we think it might possibly be okay, all of that. But
I think I'm more against abortion than her.
perhaps, but the whole thing is we have a health we my husband and I always have healthy discussions about all of these things. Within the abortion camp, there's all the let's go ahead, the people that are against abortion camp. There's also two factions. You have the pro-lifers and you have the abolitionists. The pro-lifers have this and I might be they're more nuanced, right? But they keep saying they don't want to include any sort of punishment for the woman that has an abortion. Abolitionists say that we need to apply the laws of the land as they're written and punish anybody that has an abortion because it is a life, and we all have, according to our constitution, the right to life. And they also make their argument both from biblical sources, from our laws, etc. And it comes down to, what do you think, where do you think the life begins? And I believe the life begins at conception. And so, there's this great debate, okay? And in one of the leaders of the pro-life movement is Kristen Hawkins. In my mind, she has become more of a politician, and I think I have a video on her somewhere else, but obviously she does the work of going to campuses and talking to people, and she's just as guilty of this following thing as everybody else, and as the abolitionist. And so I really like the stance of the abolitionists, but there's certain details that I would want to have cleared out before we proceed with any punitive things for women that have had an abortion. Okay? Because it's not black and white, unfortunately. It's not just dead and there's nuance, there's women. Okay, I'm not going to give you details, but I do know a woman that I'm very close to that had an abortion a long time ago. And what they did,
Lied to.
she was lied to.
It's just a
But
clump of cells.
what she was told was that it's just a clump of cells. She asked, "Do you know what it was, a boy or a girl?" And they said, "Oh, no, no, it was just cells. There's nothing there. Don't worry about it." Well, now we know, after decades and advances in science and imaging, that this wasn't just a clump of cells. So this person had to deal with guilt. She begged for God's forgiveness. She has repented. Oh, but years after, decades after, it still haunts her. Okay, it's still the one thing that she thinks God would not be able to forgive her for. So there needs to be, before we jump into punishment, there needs to be a campaign of education. Okay, women's knowing their bodies and all of that. And yeah, you think they do, you think with all this information out there in the world, they should know what all of this thing, how your body works and all of that. But this generation, some of this current generations that we have right now, are not as informed, are not as well read as perhaps their generation before, or even the generation that's coming after. Okay, parental parenting is changing as well. So I think we have a good opportunity to educate our girls, educate our ladies, and teaching them about body autonomy and things like that. There's a lot of education that needs to happen, in my opinion, before we can jump to say we are going to start punishing our girls, our women. They're damaged. There's so much, but that's not the point of this video. Okay, so I have a huge respect for abolitionist rights. Okay. T. Russell, right? He is a man of God. He loves Jesus. He knows the word of God. And he has in his mind, and that he has a mandate from Jesus and God to protect the unborn. And I am wholeheartedly agreeing with that. And he has the patience of a saint. People are horrible to him on the streets, to not just to him, but the people that he goes to do these rallies, to speak to people on the streets, on college campuses and stuff like that. His work is amazing. I believe that he has changed a lot of hearts and a lot of minds, that God has given him the ability to change people's minds. He changed mine. I do think that at some point we need to have some sort of consequences, some punishment for abortion, but nuanced, right? Everything comes down to nuance. And so, having said all that, I have a huge respect for him. I have a huge respect for this particular uh, entity, community, company. They do really good work, and it's always about God and what He would have you do. Here's my problem today. And I've seen that with a lot of people in the LGBT community, especially the transgender community and stuff like that. One of the things that we do, I think I've done it, is make fun, right? Uh, their manners, the way they're dressed, all these things. It's all about their image that they present and all that. We make fun. We laugh at them. All right, let me pause this for a second. I got to go check on my bacon. Okay, one of the biggest problems we have is making fun of each other, making fun of the appearance of the enemy of the person on the other side. They're not your enemy, honestly, but making fun of people's appearance, okay? Making fun and criticizing what they look like and all of that. And so I think that deters from the goodness of anybody's message. Um, you know, Dylan Mulvaney, right? I would have never heard of him in my life if it wasn't because the Christians, the conservative, felt the need to criticize and make fun of him making fun of women. Okay. So I'd have never heard of that. Okay. Now, I want you to understand what Jesus said. You need to love your enemies. Okay. Now, I want to show you something that the abolitionists put in today. I saw this morning on their post for YouTube. Let me share that with you. Okay. All right. So this, obviously they're promoting a video where they're having a discussion about abortion with her. And so they create this gif making her look making fun of her, making her look, I guess, ridiculous, showcasing all these things and saying, and it's not the first one, right? One of the ways that they make themselves, that they get more videos out there is showing the people that, showing people not at their best, okay? It's guilt, obviously. I think that makes some people very angry because they probably had an abortion, know someone that's had an abortion, uh, all of that, okay? They're processing, whatever. And so they get angry, they don't have the best arguments, and that just goes to know to the knowledge, goes to my idea of the lack of, oh, thank you, baby, to the lack of education for our girls, okay? They don't, some girls just don't know. Okay. If you weren't taught, they don't know. I gotta tell you, I grew up in Mexico and I had a certain idea of how the whole thing worked, the reproductive and what have you, but I didn't really know. Okay. I didn't understand a lot of things, right? I didn't have the education. So I'm just telling you that that's part of the that needs to be the first part of the conversation before we go on to ask for punishment. Okay? Sending girls, I mean, are you okay sending a very confused woman that has no idea necessarily, no, doesn't understand the nuances of an abortion? Are you comfortable sending her to prison? Okay? So it's a conversation we need to have. But my point is, as Christians, which is what the abolition rising community calls themselves, okay, they proclaim Jesus's name over the things that they do. But then they take the image of the face of an image bearer and use it to mock a whole community of women, a whole community of women. Okay? That's wrong. That will not get you friends. That will not get anybody to anyone on the community that you're trying to reach to watch your videos, to want to listen to what you have to say. We need to steer away from making fun of people's appearances. And this will bring me to my next point, real quick. I follow a bunch of ladies, Bible scholars, um, just scholars of literature and things like that on X. I don't really follow a lot of people on X. I probably follow like 30 people. It's just people that I like what they say, their ideas, and I like their books and I want to read them. So I want to keep my eye out on them to make sure that I'm first in line, kind of thing, right? There's this one lady I follow. She is a literature scholar and she's older. Okay. She's probably about a few years older than me. I'm in my 50s. She's probably close to her 60s. And she looks like a 60-year-old woman. Okay. Like me. Like, whatever. So she puts on her best clothes. She goes, evidently, I think she was celebrating an anniversary with her husband. And she took a picture and posted it on X. The comments from people were horrendous. She's ugly, boy, you put a little weight, making fun of her appearance. And she retweeted some of the comments, I believe, and she said, at what age are we going to stop talking about appearances? At what age is a woman above being made fun of for the way she looks? And that goes down to our one of the biggest problems we have, mocking people's appearances, saying the horrible things about their appearance.
Women are
and all of that. I think that we're equally, men and women are terrible. I've seen men say some horrible things about women.
women are like they badmouth women.
Yeah, well, men and women,
Yeah, it's
it's an equal,
bad.
it's bad on either side. But so that brings me to Ariana Grande. Okay. Uh there's been a she was on Wicked. I don't even need to tell you, right? Ariana Grande, you know all the story that comes behind her. Okay. Now, she has had people talk about her appearance for the last, what, 4 years, whatever, probably all her life, since she's been in the entertainment industry. She's been singing, all of that. She's Her appearance has probably been criticized, analyzed, objectified forever, right? She has grown in the light of uh in the public eye. So she put out a video or a song. I watched. I Okay. The music is not my thing. Yeah, I don't. I don't even know. Think that I could identify a song of hers. It's not my thing. I did enjoy her quite thoroughly in the movie Wicked. Both movies. My daughter and I went to see the movies. We blew the speakers in our car because we were listening to the music really loud. Anyway, it was a great memory for
Girl
my,
day.
yeah, a girl day for me and my daughter, or my daughter and I. Anyways, so other than that, I would not know her music. And she put out a video. And again, some Christian out there decided that it was a good opportunity to talk about whatever, Jesus, and it doesn't matter. The whole point is I had never seen it, except for some Christian out there promoted this by calling her out on something that he sort of called demonic and whatever. So if you've never seen the video and you're kind of squeamish, don't watch it. At the end is a young lady. The premise of it is a young lady is going for auditions over and over and over again in front of a panel of your typical old, disgusting uh men that criticize her on her body, her appearance, her behavior, all of that. Finally, she has enough of them and she gets a little chainsaw and chops everybody up into little pieces. Okay. It's kind of funny. I know. It's my dark sense of humor, I think. But it's that thing where no matter how a girl looks, no matter what you do, someone has an opinion about your appearance. And usually the people that have an opinion about your appearance are people that have issues with their own appearance and what they look like and all of that. And it's just a terrible thing to focus on. In my mind, when you put the face of a young lady that you were having an argument with and make fun of her appearance, you are joining the man out there that criticize women like Ariana Grande and the scholar I follow, and me. I've had people call me all kinds of things, uh, especially if you are a woman in a Christian world where you are trying to communicate ideas and thoughts. Forget it. Go back to the kitchen. All this other things. So all I'm trying to tell you, friends, is every human being, male and female, gay, straight, liberal, Republican, Democrat, woke, every single human being is made in the image of God and worthy of love and respect. Your neighbor is not the person you love and care for and your family and those that agree with you. Your neighbor, they keep saying that because and the abolitionist people say, I love my neighbors and the baby is my neighbor. Okay, the abortion, the baby that is aborted is my neighbor. I agree 100%. But you know who else is your neighbor? Is the lady standing in front of you that makes everything you believe and stand for a mockery of. That is also your neighbor. And putting her face out there, making fun of their faces, making fun of their appearances is not the way to get to the rest of our neighbors. I think the biggest problem we have as a society is we've forgotten to look beyond this. We are not just this body, this face, this whatever thing that we are right now, they're our human bodies. We have a soul and we have the breath of God, and that's given to us by God directly. And everybody's beautiful, even those. And the challenge is to love those that make your blood boil every single time you say something, they say something that you would give your life to stop them from saying. And we need more education. We just do. We just do. We need to educate our girls. We need to educate our boys. We need to teach them a lot of things and undo a lot of the purity culture issues that we have from previous generations. Anyways, listen, stop mocking people's appearances. That is not okay. That is not helpful. That will not get you anywhere. And, obviously, it's just a small voice in the crowd, but you need to learn to love those you would hate. That you can say you love them, but then if you use their images to make fun of them, is that truly love? And regarding Ariana Grande, okay, listen. Did you ever
know her.
I don't know her enough
I
to know,
don't know her.
and whatever. But I understand her frustration with the message that we as women that we get. Okay. Now, let me put it this way. Did you ever watch Kill Bill? Okay. All right. Uh what is it? Kill Bill 1 or 2? It was one of the bloodiest movies out there. It is a throwback to that. Literally. I mean, the last scene of the where she kills the producers or whatever, it's Kill Bill all over again. Calm down, people. But women are getting frustrated, angry, and tired. And you know what? I don't blame him. At any rate, let's stop making fun of women and of really anybody. We're all made in the image of God. And so when you mock one of his creations, you're mocking the Lord. All right. God bless. Bye bye.